And welcome, friends and fellow digital hoarders. This is Digital Hoarders Anonymous, meeting number 38. We meet live weekly on YouTube every Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, or 7 Eastern. Or you can find us on Twitter. You can reach out to us to tell us about that great deal you just found on...
Say it.
What you forgot the name of?
Detroit Become Human.
That works. It was in there.
There it is.
Hello, my name is Alden, and I'm a digital hoarder.
Hello, my name is Brandon, and I am a digital hoarder.
Hello, my name is Dan, and I am a digital hoarder.
Hello, my name is Amelia, and I am a digital hoarder as well.
Hi, my name is Connor. I'm the android sent by CyberLife. And I'm a digital hoarder as well.
Yes, we have a couple special guests for us, or here with us, and obviously, hello, hashtag Connor Army.
Good Lord.
Goodness gracious.
Is the Connor Army showing up?
They are showing up.
Yeah.
They travel in great numbers.
We have 175 watching now. We usually have like 7. So
That's a good sign.
Yeah. So hi. You know what? Hashtag Connor Army. I am one of you as well.
Damn straight. We are all Connor Army recruits for sure.
Yes.
So yes. But enough about us.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure everybody here knows who these lovely people are, but why don't we let them talk, tell us who they are, and why everybody else should keep falling in love with them. So.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I think you should be following Digital Hoarders. These guys are having a good time.
Hey now. Thank you.
So Amelia and I have been streaming on Twitch recently, and we both are acting in Detroit Become Human. I play Connor. Amelia plays
The Tracys.
The Tracys. Depending on how you play, you may meet her under different circumstances. And we've been doing a playthrough on Twitch for we've done 4 streams so far. We're going to do our final stream of this playthrough with all the final chapters, which I know there's a lot is going to happen in the next stream on Sunday. So we were like maybe, I don't know, 2 months ago, I started streaming Heavy Rain on Twitch, and I was really intimidated to set up this whole Twitch stream thing. Because, you guys know how it is. Like, you're about to go live, and now everybody's going to watch you, and hope you don't screw it up.
Yeah.
And
we usually do.
Here we are. Yeah, there you go. Well, we've discovered that when we screw it up, people tend to like it, actually.
It's true.
So,
Well, one night Brandon did electrocute him live on the podcast. So
Yep.
he grabbed a live wire. And that was
Yeah, it's not a wise decision.
You
but
know what,
hey.
though? It made for a great moment, and people loved it.
Yep.
So.
guys, I've electrocuted myself more than once.
Well, if you're he's going to do it again live on air right now.
No. Oh, God. It happened once when I was there, and it was the scariest thing.
It was really bad.
Yeah,
he
could barely speak, and he just went, help. And it was awful.
I feel like we need to hear this story.
I mean, it's a short
Christmas lights. I mean, you have to be careful with those
fantastic.
Christmas lights, because if one of them, the little bulb comes off,
Yeah, you don't want to hold on to that.
that's loose. A loose cannon.
Indeed. Yeah, well, and all your muscles when you're being electrocuted, they all they constrict. So I was holding on to this thing, and I didn't want to be holding on to it, but all your muscles make you do this. And this. I'm like, please.
This is the last thing I want right now.
You think that helped
Doesn't have
you
anything
play
to do
the
with video
role?
games.
That helped you play the role of Connor, or no?
Yeah. I had to. It was part of my process. I wanted to wake myself up on a cellular level.
It worked out well. Well, good call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went from what 200 Twitch followers to what are you at now? 100.
There's over. I think the last time we do stream chat celebrations in the stream chat, because one thing that I love about this Twitch community is that everybody's so positive and supportive, and they're in there like right now. You know what I mean? Like just even when we're not live, people are in there hanging out and like making friends. I came in one time and they were in the middle of like a pun contest. They were trying to out pun each other, and I was like, "This is hilarious!" And it's just kind of happening like all day long. They're just chilling in there. But yeah, we do every time we cross over 1,000. I try to jump into the stream, and everybody hypes with all these emotes, and they're all very excited, and it's fun to be in there when there's less during the streams now, it's gotten so busy that I can keep track of the subscriber chat, but a lot of it is moving so quickly that as I'm trying to play the game and read through the chat, it's really hard to like actually get to meet people.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
I miss that from like when we were doing our Heavy Rain streams. We had like 20 people to 100 people watching, where you can actually like read and engage and feel like you're like having a conversation. And so what I like about going in the stream chat, like for this, each time we cross over a different threshold, is that there's, it's different time of day. So there's different people in the chat. So I'm actually getting to like interact with people more and meet people more. And it's super,
awesome.
super cool, but it's growing, at an exponential rate. We're like over 118,000 on Twitch right now.
It's just insane.
I remember I jumped into one and I was like, Brian's my boy. I'm gonna jump in here and say hi. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Like it was just I don't know how you see anything. Thank God for your moderators over there. But
true, yeah. Shout out to our mods. Apparently you need a much higher mod to viewer ratio than we have. Like it's recommended by Twitch, but the thing is growing so quickly that we can't keep up. And so I'm just shout out to anybody in the Connor Army listening. Thank you for being like positive and kind with the mods and not really, it could be a total shit show in there, but it's not.
Yeah. You seem to have you seem like a sweet dude. You both seem like sweet people. And somehow all of your fans seem to be really sweet people.
Yeah.
It's
good news.
You don't get on the internet very often and see a group of people getting along for more than 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's not a thing. So.
It's true.
But in our chat, we just have a stream right now just going, Igby, 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 Igby. I guess that's the cat name, huh?
That's
what you
Igby.
need.
Wow.
Do you want to give him his hat? Sometimes we give him a celebratory hat. You can see something on that.
Apparently, the Igby army is growing as well. So.
Oh yeah, I came in there one time and they were talking about the Igby Empire and how Igby was going to slowly usurp the whole stream. And
damn,
I was like, he doesn't have thumbs.
Keep an eye on Igby.
So is it just like surreal? I mean, because I can't even imagine. I appreciate all of our people that watch the show and everything, but just that level going from that 200 to like 118,000, probably 120 by the end of the day, really. I mean, it just that feeling. I mean, how does that feel to you?
It's cool, man. It's genuinely very, very cool. I was super terrified. Just
sorry, we saw that.
This rock cat hang out.
It's a mohawk.
Igby just took over our stream too. So
see, that's the secret. You guys got to get a cat.
All right, I'm on it. Cat with a hat.
It's good. No, the thing about the stream is like when I worked on Connor, and people told me when I went, because I went back and forth to Paris 3 times to work on this game. And each time I went back, all my friends that I would say, okay, cool, I get to go back. This is the time I'm going to work with Clancy Brown. We're going to film all this stuff with Hank. This is like, I'm preparing a massive amount of material to go back and do it in like, 15 days and then come home. And then months later, I'll get another packet of information to go back and do again. And so all my friends were always telling me like, savor every moment, really enjoy it while you're there, like, soak it all in. And so I developed kind of a system for myself. We do T-pose, which is a thing at the beginning of a filming and performance capture. It's kind of the equivalent of the slate when they start and end, action and cut. So they know what part of the file is any information. Can you guys hear the lawnmower guy outside, or is it
No, you're good.
Nice, right on. I don't know, just passing through. But the one thing that I really tried to check in with myself, because it was long days and we were shooting a ton of material. There's no set or there's a minimal set. There's props that are very basic. But a lot of the things that normally slow up a film and TV production are not there on a film set. So they're or on a performance capture. So they can be very efficient. So it can be very tiring, and you want to keep your energy up because you don't know what scene anybody's going to play in what order. A lot of times, like you don't know what version of Connor they're really going for. And so I had to constantly, I framed out the script and I blocked out kind of a map for myself of all the different potentialities, like the one that you see after you finish a chapter. But we didn't have that, or the flow chart. We didn't have the flow chart on set. That would have been awesome to have, 2 years ago. But the thing I kept trying to remind myself is that Connor from the beginning is partially, I mean, at least 50% the player. So like people have been saying, "Oh, you play Connor," and I'm like, actually, you play Connor, because all of the way these choices add up is entirely up to the player. And so for me, the beginning of this Twitch thing and streaming and like checking in with it was really just to see other people playing through it and see their reactions, because I had no, like, if you work on a film, you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know how it's going to go. You could shoot everything out of order, but you know what I mean? At the end of the day, the audience is just sort of passively or semi-passively experiencing the thing with you. But in a game, it's completely different. I mean, you guys, as you play Connor, you're determining what sort of temperament he has, what kind of personality he has. If he's clumsy as hell, it's your fault, not mine. You know what I mean? Like, so, and if he's badass, that's on you too. You know what I mean? So for me, it's cool. The doing the streaming thing is awesome, because there's so many different permeations of this game, the way it could be played through. There's so many different possibilities that even though I want to, I literally can't play every single possible permeation. But on streaming,
we can.
We will. But it's really cool to be able to like participate in other people's experience. And I think stuff like streaming the game online is like super fantastic for a game like this, where there's so many different permeations, because you can jump in and out of people's story and discover more of it.
Was that, in a million years, could you have anticipated like this, like where we're sitting right now? Like, obviously you're working on a Quantic Dream game, and I was looking at some of your stuff, and I'm surprised the only other video game credit was, it said various voices in Mafia 3, which I love. So for this to be your first game, I mean, you've got a lot of film credits under your role. Also, Smurfs pops up on your thing. Where are you at Smurfs? That I want to know.
Hey, fun fact about me and Smurfs. I play a fashion designer on a runway, but the Smurfs are about this big. So at the most, you might see my ankle. It's it's a little risque. But, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to set, and then the camera like never left 6 inches above the ground.
Oh man.
So all right, well, your ankles appeared in Smurfs.
So yeah, don't bother watching that movie.
Try and find them.
I will be looking for your ankles now in Smurfs. I've seen Smurfs more than once.
I mean,
Weird if you recognize it. So.
Yeah.
Good luck finding the stuff in Mafia too, because that's a huge game. I mean, I have no idea where those voices are. I mean, I could guess, but I don't know. I haven't played through the entire thing. I know I play a guy that gets, I think one of the things is you come into a bar and you stab the dude, but I don't know if it's
nice.
You shoot. It's a shootout. It's sort of like a bar with the, I don't know.
So you're the one that's being stabbed.
I'm the guy I'm like the foreman. I'm like a shitty foreman who's telling everybody to get back to work. And then I think somewhere along the line, they're like, let's go kill him. And then they do.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Lovely.
That's a very weird role to read for, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know what the game was, because in video games, and the same is true of Detroit, they don't give you the title. They don't give you the character. They don't give you the production design and the production team. I mean, I knew basically nothing about any of these projects until, for Mafia 3, they didn't even tell me it was Mafia 3. I just had to research everything, and I was like, okay, well, based off the timeline of what this company is doing at this, it's got to be Mafia.
Gotcha. Wow.
Like they still like my that's something that the SAG-AFTRA, the union, is working on evolving for actors, because right now it's a brave new frontier. Quantic Dream games are the, I'm not gonna say the closest. They're the closest thing to cinema. They're the closest thing to the video game narrative requiring like full performance. And now even like racing games, the trailers look like Fast and the Furious. Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. So the whole trend is definitely going towards more and more cinematic stuff. Except Cuphead. Cuphead is
which is beautiful.
I love Cuphead.
So if you look at, you go into this, but then Amelia, so you did a game where you got to do actual acting and how long does that setup take? Because you're going back and forth. Because for those in the chat, she was in Quantum Break, so she was back and forth. So how does that work? Because for Bryan and you guys in Detroit, you talk about strictly the mocap performance, but you have to do both. So you got to get all the crap glued to your face and then take all the crap off your face. And I imagine that tends to drag on a lot longer on set.
Well, working on Quantum Break, it was made by Remedy, which is based in Finland. And so I got to go to Finland twice to work on the game. And we had 2 different ways of filming for Quantum Break. Most of it was done in Finland in a very small room. It was just me and the director. And I was standing on this little platform, and in front of me was a screen, and there was a crosshair, and I had to keep my nose right in the middle of the crosshair. And I was not allowed to move my body. I had this, what I call the power bar, that you could squeeze if you wanted to like get out some energy.
But don't move.
But it was crazy experience, because most of the lines that I had in this game, I did in this tiny room without being able to move my body, which was very challenging. And then for pieces when we were walking and talking at the same time, we got to be on a performance capture stage in California, in Los Angeles. And we were getting to work with other actors, but we had these crazy headpieces on.
I've seen those pictures.
Yeah,
it looks like a salt trap.
On my Instagram, you can see a picture, but they had this huge thing, and they had to like tighten it on my head. And then I had these big pieces coming out in the front with lights and cameras. So it really changed the way you move, because you felt like you had this giant headpiece on. So it was a little like a torture device when they had to tighten it. But it was a very different experience than working on Detroit, where we didn't have all of that stuff, and we didn't do just the facial capture. It was all performance capture with other actors on the stage with the little dots and stuff. So 2 very different experiences.
Yeah, I'd say.
So was Detroit a bit easier for you, where you thought, all right, this is more my speed?
Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, getting to work with Bryan, you kind of don't get any better than that.
There's Andy Serkis.
No, I mean,
there's Nolan North. Troy Baker.
None of them are Bryan Dechart. So getting to work with him was really amazing. And it was just 2 very different experiences. And Finland is a crazy, awesome place. First time I went there, it was the winter time. So the sun only came up for 4 hours. Ooh. And then the second time I went there, it was the summer. So the sun only set for 4 hours. So it was definitely a whole new world. Yeah.
That was fun to sleep at night, I'm sure. So.
Blackout shades.
Good call.
Okay.
Good call.
Maybe that's why the Remedy's so obsessed with these games that like bend time and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't really know.
Also, we apologize because you're now never going to hear the end about your ankles, because every time I look at the chat, it's the word ankles. So
yeah,
that'll be a new thing.
I mean, just ask him to type. No, I won't even tell you what. There's so many inside jokes in this Twitch community that like, I'm having a hard time keeping track of them.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. Our chat now is filled with your inside jokes. We don't get the jokes on our own chat.
Hey,
Detroit become ankles. Bryan become ankle. It's literally just ankles is every other word.
Somebody in the chat also asked if the Smurfs are what made the blue blood.
Ooh, conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gross.
Oh, no.
The long rumored Smurf Detroit become human crossover.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
People demand it.
I did catch one question, believe it or not, and it was Igby or sumo. They're asking you, so they're
are we talking
pitting you
like
against your cat. So
a cage match or like
in a cage match, I might take sumo, but I'm guessing
in a cuddle match, Igby.
Yeah,
Igby all day. All right.
Igby all day.
Yeah, Igby's also real.
Igby. I mean, Igby's. I'm very, very biased, so he's a good thing for me.
If they're walking down a runway with hats on, but we can only see their ankles.
Yeah, Amelia, I like that you're very loyal. Like you definitely said Bryan is the best voice actor in the world. So that's you're the sweetest person in the world to him.
She's good news. We're a team. We've gotten to work together on a couple projects, so we want to keep this going. You know.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Start
you
your
should get
own-
married.
Yes, you get married.
You should do that in like 10 days. That's what I'm thinking. Your call. No
Let's do it.
pressure. But all right.
I think we can
Heard
pull
it
it
here
off.
first, guys.
I do want to ask, as far as the actual game goes, and not the inside jokes. One of the things that I really loved about your performance in Detroit, Bryan, was it was insane to me how subtle. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the game can go in so many different ways, and the character changes in so many different ways based on your decisions. But the subtle changes in your performance as you went, how did you really handle that with everything kind of, it could go in any direction? I mean, you could have, you would go 3 or 4 scenes before you realized, oh, he's slowly been unraveling.
Yeah. Cool. To hear you say that means that like a lot of years of working on this paid off. I'm really, that's my favorite thing to hear anyone tell me, is that the evolution of Connor is natural and feels like organic to the choices that they're making. And it's not like, oh, I pushed triangle and now I have a completely different character or something. That it kind of grows that way. One of my favorite things in video games is the character creation thing. A lot of times it's like an RPG game where I will spend hours like flipping through which beard, which forehead, you know what I mean? Like picking out your, just kind of like designing the character. And maybe that's like an actory thing to be interested in. But I wanted the whole experience of playing Detroit Become Human to be that character customization thing. And it's one thing if you're playing, D&D and you just are going to play as this kind of character and you decide it from the beginning and then you go with it, but that's not really how our personalities develop over time. And so for me, it was, in the beginning, I thought about the script, as a, spectrum. So I thought, okay, we're playing I knew it was a choose your own adventure branching narrative thing. I was familiar with Heavy Rain. I understood how the player's choice would determine the outcome and how these different scenes were going to be filmed in all these pieces, and the pieces were all going to be compiled and the player kind of goes through them. But I imagined at the end, like a leftmost Connor and a rightmost Connor, or on a spectrum, you'd have a Connor number 1 and a Connor number 7, and then it might be flavors in between. But, so I thought this could work so that I would be driving towards different points on the spectrum, depending on which choices the player would make. But then when I got the set and I realized that that works if there's only one thing,
right?
Following your mission or not.
Right.
I mean, you've got, I don't want to spoil anything, but you've got 2 extremes. But on top of that, you also have the plus and minus relationship to these other characters. You have the plus and minus relationship to Hank. You have a plus and minus relationship with Amanda. You have a plus and minus relationship with the public opinion and how the world at large is perceiving androids based off how your investigation's going. And so I realized that I didn't have, a spectrum from left to right wasn't going to be subtle, it was going to be more like, okay, now we're playing the badass one. So I did it a map on grid paper, and instead of having like a beginning, middle, and an end, like you would do breaking down a script for a film, I used grid paper, and I started, the hostage is the centermost point of this grid, and it's a box. And then around that box is another box, which is the first scene of Connor, which is where we go to meet Hank and to pick him up in the bar. And around that is another box, and around that is another box, and around that is another box. And so I marked out, I had a map of all of the potentialities that the player could choose, the major ones. I mean, sometimes you're just like guessing the clue wrong. Like if you're there and, oh, he got stabbed 28 times. Like, okay, you're either right or you're wrong. There's not really but if the player is making these different choices, I kind of color coordinated this grid so that no matter what order we filmed it in, or no matter which eventuality you would pick when you're playing it, I would know on set, okay, well, it's going to be in this hemisphere of my color wheel. And so then I was able to kind of, I mean, I haven't played through the thing multiple different ways yet. We're still finishing our first playthrough on Twitch. So I'm definitely going to do more exploration to see what people have been telling me about, but I really like hearing that it works subtly. But I imagined it more like, do you guys remember overhead projectors or
Yeah.
where you have a light shining through, and you have one transparency, and then you have another transparency, and you have another transparency. You shine the light through it.
Yep.
So this is how I imagined the different scenes of Connor. So if you played the first scene totally green Connor, when you played the second scene totally red Connor, and then totally red Connor and totally red Connor, you would have a mostly red but kind of green Connor. Or if you always made the green choice, you'd have a super green Connor. You know what I mean? So
no, I like the way you describe it. It's yeah, that's really smart.
Like kind of like
layers
rings in a tree.
Rings in a tree, or layers in Photoshop. You know, if the opacity is set in such a way, and so you're stacking them. So I imagined the scenes more as layers over each other, and then the audience is, not the audience, but the player. The experience is what it is to go through all those different layers, as opposed to what we normally do, which is, you know, you break down a script beginning, middle, and end, and then no matter what order you shoot it in, you can kind of plot yourself on that thing. But I had to let go of that immediately because I knew it was all about the player choice, you know.
I like that metaphor a lot. Metaphor a lot. Because I feel
Brandon
like
just had a subtle change too.
You would feel like a lot of actors would just look at that and just go like, all right, this is the script for today. Like, I'm reading this. Oh, I'm angry in this scene. Let me read it angrily. But I would have never thought of doing it the way you did. So that's incredibly smart. You should do this for a living, Brian. You really should.
Hey, man, I'd love to do this again. I love it. Playing Connor is more fun than playing Brian.
Yeah, you definitely put a lot of work into it, and it shows. Man, it was a fantastic job. I marveled at how subtle those changes were. So to see how you went through that process is fascinating to me.
It's cool. It's an unusual thing to do too, because like if you and I were scene partners, or Clancy, let's say the NPCs in the game, they're going to say what they're going to say based off the reaction of the player, or what the player's choices are. So when we would film these segments, what would be really trippy is that like Brandon would say something as my scene partner, and then I would reply, and then I'd leave this weird little cycle so that the player can choose which button they're going to push, and then I would reply the other one. And then I'd go back to this weird little cycle. And then I'd reply the square choice. And then I go back to this weird little cycle. And then I'd reply the X choice. And then we'd move on to the next line. Brandon would say his next line. Wow. And then I would have the three. So that is totally unusual. I mean, you never experience that unless you're filming a branching narrative thing. And so that, you know, so that I don't know. It's weird. But it was cool. You had to kind of come up with like a new process for working on it, you know?
Yeah, and I imagine that's different than any other game, really. I mean, unless you're doing another Quantic Dream game, they're the best at what they do. So
for sure.
Yeah, it was cool. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of time working with them.
You did as well.
I had a lot of sleep with them. No, wait, whoa. I need more sleep.
That's how you did it.
Now we're getting there. All right.
That's how you go from Smurfs to Detroit. I get it. All right.
Yeah. I needed
Smurfs
that.
ankles.
What was I saying? I had a lot of fun working with them. Like everybody at Quantic Dream was so cool. It's super important. Like one of my main objectives, like doing these podcasts or an interview or something, I'm just trying to get as many people as possible to realize like they put my face on the thing, and like people are running around in my body and puppeteering me. So they it's easier for them to go, oh, I understand. I can say good job to you. But there's 200 people that work at Quantic Dream that are working on this thing like 4.5 years straight every single day. And so like I just want to, shout out to those guys. And like if you can follow them, I try to post their links and stuff on Twitter and whatever. But Benjamin Deibling, who's the shooting director, is like the coolest, and he's on set every single day, basically being the dungeon master of what this whole setup is in this weird gray room where you have everything, trying to translate what needs to be there in the computer at the end of the day, and then actually get it on set in the day. And the animation team is like second to none. They're incredible. The technology is super great. It's evolving so quickly that I wish that I could say like, oh, we did Detroit Become Human and we learned how to do performance capture with the motion tracker dots on our face and the suit. But I'm pretty sure that like today they're already evolving to some new thing. You know what I mean? Like the technology is moving so quickly. The stuff I've heard them talk about, for how they can, what the next steps are for this stuff, it's going to be it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be all over the place. They can do live. There are versions of performance capture that happen live. So you're literally like puppeteering yourself in a digital space on the fly. I mean, it's not the same level of animation, of course, but the fact that
yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
They went my head.
I just want to say first,
if you're talking about the onions in the
chat has decided that Connor is very multi-layered like an onion, and now Connor's name
is
Cunyon Army.
What is that?
Gotta love them.
Fantastic. I love it.
That's
you got to be careful with that
word.
one.
Yeah.
My name is Cunyon. I'm the donkey sent by Cyber Shrek. That's one of them that just said. So, enjoy that.
I don't know, man. It's your day to watch them.
I love
People are fun.
That's
I do want to ask. So, you've talked about how long this game took to make and how much work went into it. So that means there was a very delayed payoff for you. Did you know and expect any sort of response like this? I mean, obviously not to this extent, but did you have any inkling that this was going to be what it is?
All right. So I knew maybe 3 years ago when I was auditioning for, and in Los Angeles, we audition for everything. I mean, there's sometimes you're auditioning in the same day, you're auditioning for end of the world sci-fi zombie thing. And then 10 minutes later, you're auditioning for like, a Disney thing. Like the spectrum of work is so broad that I realized that I needed to get really specific about what kind of work that I want to do as an actor. And so I was getting real sort of reflective on who are the actors that I think are the greatest, who's actors, what are the actors that I want to emulate. Andy Serkis is the first one that comes to mind. And the fact that you can play characters that don't, I mean, Connor does look like me, but the fact that you could play a dragon, you could play Smaug, you can play, anything,
Caesar.
a monkey, Caesar, King Kong or whatever. So this kind of thing is what I really got excited about doing. And a friend, like, I'm not turning this into some romanticized story, but I think I literally like journaled for myself. Like, I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be performance capture. That's the way I make a specific move that needs voice work, it needs body work, like stuff that really engages you as an actor. That's, sometimes in film and TV, you can get away with just being, smirky in a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just,
in a box.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the earlier stuff I did on TV is just me doing like smiley. Smirky in a box.
That's the name of your autobiography. Bryan Dechart, Smirky in a Box.
But the day that I like deliberately set this for myself, I got a message from a friend online, just sort of out of the blue, saying, "Hey, I know you are excited about performance capture stuff. Check out this trailer." And the trailer was for Beyond Two Souls. Mm-hmm. And I saw this trailer and I was like, this is like the fact that this is a video game, but they're using this like A-level talent and people are like, they're able to get an emotionality across in a way that like, if you're just a voice, you have, you can be there, in one way, but it's totally different than doing full performance capture. We have the mic on our head and our face and our body. It's all recorded at the same time. So it just feels so much more real when they animate it and put it into the game. And so when I booked Detroit Become Human, I knew that they were going to be able to like deliver on the promise of taking an actual performance and then translating it into the video game. When I saw the hostage demo screen at E3 in 2016 was the first piece that I filmed before I filmed any of the rest of it. And it was so like when I went from having the experience of being on set to seeing what they built the whole environment with the snipers and the guy in the pool and the hostage taker. And I mean, I did all those, fun fact, I did all the hostage taking stuff with David Cage as my scene partner. I've never met the other guy, Ben Lampert, who plays Daniel. I've never met him. So I'm just yelling at David Cage, which is fun. But then when I saw it in that trailer, I was like, okay, this is going to be something big because they're really able to deliver on it. The score is so good and stuff, but I had no idea that it was going to be as excited on social media as it is. I think part of that has to do with the fact that we're playing on Twitch and that like, I'm excited about video games. I'm excited about the fact that like going into Twitch and seeing other people play through it is super cool to me, because it's like you said, yeah, we worked on it for a long time, but then it's like a time capsule. You know, we buried it and then had to sit around for 2 years with an NDA, not allowed to talk about anything. So if you're like, damn, Brian's like really going overkill on this Detroit Become Human thing, it's because it's been years. It's finally out. You know?
Well, I think it helps that just spending all that time with you at E3 this past week, you're just so damn, both of you are so damn humble and just accepting of it. For example, walking around with you at E3, people would notice you. People would walk by you, then they'd talk, and then they'd backtrack. So you were getting stopped enough, but that didn't stop you, because Thursday you got the Connor Army and you dressed up. So like you're embracing of it. You're not trying to hide from it. You want people to know, and I think that goes a long way, because you meet so many people in the industry that just don't really want to. They kind of want to be left alone, and they're like, yeah, I'm that guy, but but not you. You were just you want everybody to know how much it means to you, and I think that helps, because people gravitate towards the positivity.
Yeah, well, and I've been totally like, I was a little, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't afraid to start streaming on Twitch. I mean, I really, the first time I did it, I had the setup. Amelia was with me. She walked in when I had all this stuff. I was like, all right, I'm going to do my first like Q&A on Twitch. This is before the game came out. I was just going to do a video thing like this, and people came to the chat. And she's like, what are you doing? I had fabric set up in the background. It looked like I was like in the shower or something.
I think also I was like on the couch, like in the chat, moderating.
Yeah. Amelia was on the chat on the couch. And then I had it set up where I was like, okay, I want it like this, so like nobody can like see too much of my living room or, something. I was like, I'm going to try to like control it. And then I clicked something and the camera went different. It's just like Amelia laying on the couch with Igby. And I was like, no. But then everybody's been so like positive. Like, guys, I wish this for everybody. Like, I wish everybody could write. I mean, it's so wonderful to wake up every day to see your phone full of messages of people being like, the thing you did, I love. The thing you did really resonated with me. I'm excited about it. Like, this is a blessing like I've never had. And so to be able to like return that positivity with positivity, I'm all about it. So and they gave me the suit. I mean, they let me. If you guys had a Connor suit, you would be walking around in it too.
I would wear it to work.
Yeah, it would make me lied. I'm still wearing that thing. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
It would really, really, really not fit me at all. It would look awesome. It would. I'd have to get a nice custom quadruple X.
Hey, we need dad bod androids in the future too,
That's right. Who's gonna be over there, cheering on the kids at the at the ball games?
Soccer dad android.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's I know you guys have to run here really soon. I'm still just blown away that you guys wanted to do the show. But
you're so sweet.
Oh, stop it, Brandon. Yeah. Brandon was at E3. We met. Did we meet 2 years ago or 1 year ago? At
2 years ago, briefly, but it was you were all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I was just kind of like sneaking around at E3 when they had the demo out and just kind of like peeking over people's shoulder and stuff. And, but this last time at E3, it was so much fun walking around with you and Derek and just like. Thank you so much for just like introducing us to people, for kind of helping us, move through the crowd sometimes. And,
hand sanitizer.
Bringing us hand sanitizer. I love everybody, but after you've shaken 1,000 hands, somebody comes up to you with hand sanitizer, they become a new deity.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
No, you're great. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
And people really appreciated all those tags. I don't want to, skip over it, but Brandon brought me all these really cool Detroit Become Human, like the game tags when they're on display at the store, and people love that. I was able to sign a bunch of those to everybody that came to the Connor Army meetup, and I know that made a big difference for them to get to be a part of it. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Everybody gets to take a little tiny Brian home with them. So,
a little Smurf.
So it's like that image that you tweeted out where
the pigeon. Oh my God, that's my favorite. Your fan art you get is amazing. That one, whoever did that they replaced all the pigeons with little Connors. That thing is brilliant. I don't know who did that, but
man, that was awesome.
Dude, the fan art is insane. We've started doing a fan art Friday stream. That'll be our next stream, is on Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. I've been getting so much fan art, and I want to retweet it and reshare it, but I literally my whole timeline would just be fan art because there's so much cool stuff and of all the different characters and of all the inside jokes and stuff for the Connor army and the blue-haired Tracy. I mean, it's so cool. And we've started doing these streams, but I put up one time, I was like, send me an email if you have fan art, and I'd be happy to put them all together in one email or in one like stream, so everybody else could see them and they'd be kind of
like
archived,
online gallery.
Yeah, like a gallery. And I got 1,800 submissions in the first week. So I'm gonna keep doing this like every Friday. I think we're just gonna keep doing a fan art Friday thing because everybody's
it's so
creative.
awesome. It's so awesome. They're all so talented, and it's so cool
for
to
sure.
see the characters through different people's lenses.
Oh yeah, and you guys better believe you're gonna get some fan art of the three of you and that fish behind you.
Yeah, there you go. Hashtag save the fish.
That's right.
Hashtag save the fish.
That's right.
But yeah, it's like I said, we don't want to. I want to. If I can't imagine your schedule opens up anytime soon, but whenever it does, we got to get you guys back on because you guys are amazing.
Hey, that sounds great, man. And thanks for inviting us onto the thing. You know, we messaged about this a long time ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely." There's and then
yes.
the internet showed up, so I'm glad we pulled this off.
That was 18,000 Twitch followers ago.
Yes, 118,000.
Oh, sorry, 118,000 Twitch followers ago. I do want to say we have a guy in the chat, or Pup in a Cup, said, "I just wanted to thank you to the Connor Army or Cunyon Army and Brian. Had he not been here, I would have had a severe panic attack today. People in the stream and chat helped me a lot. Thanks, Connor, or thanks, Cunyon, whatever."
You've now become Cunyon, but
No. We're gonna kill that right now.
I got to that and I thought maybe I shouldn't say Cunyon, but you know what?
look at this. It's just Cunyon everywhere. So I have
Stop that.
no more Cunyons. Cunyon is. But one thing that sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say that kind of message is huge and something that I really love to see. And we've seen people message to us on Twitter, and then in the time that it takes us to get to the tweet to reply to it, other people are chiming in and saying like, "Hey, I'm here if you need somebody to talk to," or in the stream chat, like there are people in there hanging out. Somebody's just saying, you know, I'm having a rough day, or I got to study for this big test. I got to go. Wish me luck. And then they got a bunch of people there in the community. And the fact that this has become like, it's like an online place to hang out. It's like a cool community. So I'm just grateful for everybody that's, you know, excited to be a part of it, and for you guys for, you know, help fan the flames. And it's cool.
Absolutely. We actually did an episode of this show back in the beginning, which was, we were a little hesitant on doing it first, but we did an entire episode about depression and stuff like that, because it's something that everybody deals with. I don't care if you're me, you're Bryan Dechart, you're the most famous person in the world right now, or everybody deals with it in some way. And that was one big thing that we took from that show, was we wanted people to know that they're not alone. Listen, this Connor army of 400 plus people watching right now, you don't know us on Twitter, but I'm not kidding. I've always opened that my door to anybody that needs help, because like I said, everybody deals with something, and I don't want anybody to think they're alone. So follow all of us on Twitter, and we'll help you through it. But yeah, so yeah, it's amazing for you to be able to have that power over, you know, complete strangers that they think they can confide in you. That's huge. So, you know, that's amazing.
And it's awesome that everybody else is there to keep it growing, because I get messages where people are saying, "Congratulations on, you know, X number of however many are following on a platform or something," and that's cool. Like for me, it's cool that this community is growing up and around Detroit Become Human, and people are excited about Connor and the other characters in the story. But really, it's more a testament to the collective unconscious of people that there are hundreds of thousands of people out there that really genuinely believe being positive and empathetic and caring is the way forward, is the way to go, and that we all crave that from one another, and we want that for each other. So the fact that there's hundreds of thousands of people now that are linking up and sharing in this together is more a testament to just humanity you know, in general, and it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
I remember when you and I first talked about doing the show, you kind of like read the bio, and the first thing you said was, "Oh, positivity, I'm in." So because there's enough people out there that complain. Let's just enjoy life. That's what I say. But again, thank you guys. What I wanted to make sure that everybody realizes just, how great Bryan is, but also Amelia is fantastic. She's great in the game, but I felt like an ass, which prompted her to break out into Disney Princess song to me at E3. But I felt like a dick because I spent 3 days talking to her, not realizing that she was in a TV show that my wife and I loved, which was the Scream TV series. And once that dawned on me, that was fantastic. So check out these guys, both of their IMDb pages, because True Blood and Scream, and then
Smurfs.
And Smurfs. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was actually my wife was looking for a rom-com to watch, and we were watching the trailer for Commencement, so that's going to be the next rom-com to watch, which looks like Bryan does not play a very nice guy in that movie. So.
Oh, that's how we met. was that the opening scene with Bryan and I? Our first scene was we met doing a chemistry read at the audition, doing that scene. So that was our first.
And I actually, fun fact, I got an email from Steve Albresi, who's the director of this film, Commencement,
and writer,
maybe about 10 minutes before, because I asked him, could we stream the movie on Twitch? I don't know. Apparently the answer is no, we can't. But we can cut together some clips of it that we're going to share on our stream, and he's going to bring us some copies of Commencement as prizes. So we're going to try to.
Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome.
If you want to watch something Amelia and I have done together, Commencement is the movie to watch. If you want to see us for more than 15 seconds.
And more than your ankles. So
yeah, right.
But yeah, that's our rom-com now, so we will be checking that out for sure.
Right. Let me know how you like it.
I will.
Yeah, we've done a lot of talking about Bryan's performance in the game and how fantastic it was, but Amelia, you were fantastic too. And I just want to say, I don't want to spoil anything, because obviously this story can go so many different ways. But I do want to say I'm sorry for how my game played out.
Easy.
That wasn't. I mean,
it's okay. No, it's okay. It's tricky because they're attacking Connor, who we've come to love so dearly. But yeah, so it's okay. You could just make it up to me next time.
There'd be too many apologies if I just started playing my playthrough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets into spoil, because here's the thing, and Bryan and I talked about this the other day. With 4 kids and my wife and I trying to play Detroit, I'm not very far. E3. I literally just got to Club Eden, so all I know is Amelia has a great. I haven't even met the Tracys yet, but I'm about to. But
yeah, you will.
Yeah, I will. But I went to try to find a picture of the 2 of you from the game. And the only one that exists
say what you saw
was horrifying. So I did not get put up. I'll tell you what it is off the chat. Which I was like, I saw it, and at first look, I'm like, oh, perfect. And then I looked at it more. I'm like, oh no.
Hey, I won't spoil anything, but that scene was filmed with a basketball.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
that scene happened in my playthrough, and it was. I felt so dirty when it was over.
But all right, wrap this up.
Yeah,
so I know you got stuff to do. So
on that note.
So where can everybody find you? I want to say that, but 99% of the people in our chat right now are here because of you.
But come join us on Twitch. That's the fun spot to be.
Oh yeah.
We got it's Twitch at Bryan Dechart. And
Twitch.tv
Bryan Dechart. We've said that a couple
times. It took a long time for me to finally get that. And
yeah, Amelia was like, Twitch.net? No, that's not it. But the big streams that we're doing, on Friday, we're doing a Fan Art Friday stream on Twitch starting at noon. And then at 4 p.m. we're doing a concert. We got some buddies that are musicians that have come to do. We've been doing these chill streams where we just play some Crash Bandicoot, play some of their new music. They're rapping and beatboxing while we play, and I don't know. It's just a fun, chill kind of way to hang out. So that's on Friday. On Saturday we're doing a crossover stream Overwatch with Carolina Ravassa, who plays Sombra in Overwatch. Oh, wow. Neither one of us are very good at first-person shooter games, so
this will be fun.
If you want to watch us walk into walls or fall off the edge of the map,
yes.
Anybody can be good at it. That's what I want to watch.
Yeah. It's falling with style. You know.
Uh,
And then we finish on Sunday. Our final playthrough of Detroit Become Human will
For
be
this
on Sunday
go-round.
for this playthrough is on Sunday at 1 p.m.
Awesome.
Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, come hang out with us on Twitch, but more importantly, hang out with these guys at Digital Hoarders because you guys are awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I appreciate that. If those of you who enjoyed our show that are in the chat now, subscribe, check us out. We think we do a fun show and we have a good time doing it. We have a bunch of guests coming up too, Brandon.
Yeah. Next week is Meredith Molinari, who was on the show once before. She is PlayStation's guest or host for everything live that we do. The week after that's July 4th, so go have fun. And then the week after that, Brian Marquez from Adult Swim Games, who was on about 2 months ago, is coming back. And we've got some more guests that we haven't announced yet, but it's crazy to me whenever anybody wants to do the show. So thank you to literally everybody who does the show and to you two amazing people.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you guys too. And Brian Marquez is going to be on my birthday as well. So
You're just going to talk about Mega Man the whole time.
Happy
So.
early birthday.
thank you so much.
That's all he wanted. He just wanted Amelia and Brian to say happy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you guys. Oh shucks.
It's
Oh,
not
you're
even-
turning all pink.
It's not even close to his birthday. His birthday's in December. He just wanted to hear you say it. So.
Oh,
just
well, happy half birthday then.
I just wanted to get it live on the show that Brian has promised to talk Mega Man with me on the show. So
Brian Marquez.
Brian
Oh.
Marquez.
I'll talk Mega Man. Let's go.
Shit.
Yes.
There's your next.
geez.
All right. I wish we had time. You're
Brian has now said Mega Man and D&D. I think Alden's in love because he mentioned D&D earlier. So yeah, those are
Well,
Alden's trigger words.
I guess
so.
we should wrap it up while you guys still have time to go. So, thank you guys for joining us. You guys have been fantastic. The chat, you guys have been fantastic. Hashtag
Yeah, no doubt.
Connor Army, you're unbelievable.
We've
Hold on,
turned you into an
Steve,
onion.
Brandon, talk.
Okay. Bless you. We've turned you into an onion, and we apologize for that. So
It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
damn sure we all become
Connor
onions.
Army, everybody following along, check these guys out. Digital Hoarders on Twitter, but you have to replace the E and Hoarders with a 3. It's like
Yeah,
a
some
secret code.
jerk took Digital Hoarders and literally never tweeted from it once, so
Yeah,
we had to
that's
get
true.
fancy. So yeah,
Hey, I couldn't log into my own YouTube account, and now here I am going around Bryan Dechart official, and I'm like, that Bryan Dechart account is me, but they won't let me have it.
yeah.
I know
Now
how it is.
you're more official now. So
Right.
Well, again, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week with Meredith, and we'll talk about all the stuff we didn't talk about tonight. With the Dan's playthrough of The Last of Us. Finally,
Oh,
finally,
yeah,
God.
finally. It's been a while.
Oy vey. All right.
we'll have our
Sorry.
polls. So thank you guys for joining us. This has been Digital Orders episode 38. Hashtag Hoard On.
Cool.